make sure this camera right. That's cool, I guess, like that. Alright, so we on Facebook Live. Alright, so we got to talk about black identification. I ain't wanted to put black people identification because I came up with just putting black identification. Okay, so I was just got in the house and came up with this idea and kind of wrote some stuff down and I'm about to spit these to you. So if I could try to wave at you right here, my phone is kind of in a weird position, but alright, so let me get into it. Get my phone out. Alright, so I wrote some stuff down. What's up, cuz? Let me get up my information. Okay, so, but first we gotta deal with the black identification part. So what I mean by black identification is that whatever the black people in America called themselves, I mean, it might have been more, but what I got, I think I got like 4 of them. Nah, I got like 7. Alright, so matter of fact, I do got a lot. But the names I came up with for black identification, black people have called themselves Hebrew Israelites, black people. I'm gonna break all these things down because a lot of people might not even know what a Hebrew Israelite is, for one. But Hebrew Israelite, Muslim, AfricanAmerican, Native American. Black people have considered themselves Native American, yeah, and Indigenous. Some people like to call themselves Indigenous people. A lot of black people, or aboriginal or aborigine, or how you say that word. And then we come with the term that we use frequently, black. So those, everything I was coming up with from people in America, black people in America, the names they call themselves to try to find themselves identity-wise. I didn't put Christianity in it because I don't see as black people looking at themselves as like Christianity being more than just the religion that it is. But Hebrew Israelite, it's a whole culture. Like, this is a whole way of life for them. So it's different. So I had to put that in there. Especially like Islam or being a Muslim, like the Nation of Islam, it's not just a religion, it's a whole life for them. So I had to put that on there. And black people call themselves Muslim, or Muslim is the first thing, just like that. Yeah, I do. I just smoked not too long ago. So we're gonna deal with the easiest one. Well, the one I got first is, as far as black identification, we're gonna deal with Hebrew Israelites first. So the Hebrew Israelites, I made videos about talking about the Hebrew Israelites, how I got into it and how I found out about it and all that shit. So I'm not gonna get into that, but basically the Hebrew Israelites, from my research, is a group of black people in America, and they read the King James Bible, so they kind of like Christians, but they don't consider themselves Christians, and they say they are the real Jews that's in the Bible, and the Jews that we look at to be Jews today, they say they was not the real Jews, and they are the real Jews, and that they are black. I heard somebody calling me, but so, and a lot of different black Hebrew Israelites, a lot of different groups or camps that they like to call it. Just like in regular Christianity, there's a lot of different fractions and versions and camps and, you know, different part of the trees into this whole Christian dome thing. Then same thing with Hebrew Israelites. A lot of them have the same basis of what they say. Some of them might be a little bit more extreme, you know, but they basically believe that they are the chosen ones, and basically everything in the Bible is about black people, and we are cursed, and the way that we fix the things with black people is to, one, go back to God's laws. Every single law, we got to make sure we follow it. So you shouldn't be eating pork. Niggas shouldn't be cutting off their beard. That's it. That's all I'm gonna tell you for now. The Ten Commandments, you should already know that. That's common knowledge to me. But the yeah. So I guess I'm gonna just do it a different way. I guess I'm gonna talk about that, and then I'm gonna go into why I'm making this black identification. So that's basically the Hebrew Israelites in a nutshell. Uh, I guess I'm gonna just say this: the African Hebrews, I guess you want to call them that, because it's fractions of black Hebrew Israelites that understand that they're part of Africa. That's the one thing I didn't say. The Hebrew Israelites, the black Hebrew Israelites, don't consider themselves African. They consider black African people to be something totally different than the chosen black people that God put on the earth, the Jews, that's black. So, but it's a fraction of African people that consider themselves Hebrews, and it's totally different from the black Hebrew Israelites. I mean, from what I see, it's totally different. You know? But alright, so black identification with the Hebrew Israelites. Long story short, that shit is not true. It's all a scam. It's all to get you back into another trance and stuff like that. The only thing good about it is you're learning. That's the part, the only thing about it. You're learning something new, you know what I'm saying? If you want to, learn about a different culture like Jewish, and if you want to learn about, the trueness of something, go for it. But, it's whatever. But, to me, oh shit, as far as the black Hebrew Israelites, okay, so they started in the late, black Hebrew Israelites kicked off in the late 19th century. In the late 19th century, that's when the Hebrew Israelites kicked off. And the thing about it, that why I got them on this list, other than it's something that black people call themselves, is the creation, how I say, or the inception of this black Hebrew Israelite group, and then you can see it today is how do they kind of recruit people. It's just like the Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your house or something like that, they're trying to recruit. And especially with black people, they tell you this same narrative, or they tell you this like racism type of slavery, discrimination story, and it gets you hooked because it's something that fuck with us during, slavery fuck with us, and that all the shit with that. So it's like when you play with that and they make it seem like they're out to help us, this is happening, they're lying, this is the truth, then you already a Christian. Most black people out there are Christians, or believe in God. Or if it was a way, to my understanding, if it was a way that you can feel more connected to God, knowing that everything is black and you found like you know the truth and we're cursed and blah blah blah, what the Hebrews say, then you would go with it. So like they easily recruiting people. So they got a lot of people that's Hebrew Israelites out there. I know a couple. But to me, the inception of that starting for black people is the idea of racism. Not saying they're being racism, I'm gonna get to that part, but just the idea of they're fighting. It's almost like you become a Hebrew Israelite because you found out the white man did this, or it's because you was in racism. I bet and believe if you was never brought to America and that Bible's still floating around, you would never come to the terms of all that you just came into. It's because of the point of slavery. It's because slavery happened that you believe these things. So if it wasn't for slavery happening, or discriminating things, or racial things happening, none of this stuff you would say is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you could go through history and see many races, different races of people going through things similar to what you could call discrimination or oppression or slavery all around the world in different forms. So it's like, man, So yeah, discrimination, slavery. So it's like it's still keeping you into the loop. To me, if you come into an understanding that you're a Hebrew, or if you come into the understanding that I want to join this organization, to me that should be an organization of like the card or the name of the organization is to be free. To me, it's like, okay, ultimate free peace, freeness from anything that's keeping you, holding you back, but peace, like ultimate peace of self and everything, and just all the good shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you understand love and forgiveness and don't be angry and all that good shit. But it's like when you join it, you still in the loop. You are more so concerned about racism and the white man and the situation that's really not in a false situation that's not really at hand or really doesn't benefit you by concerning yourself with it, as far as you developing in life. Okay, so like you complaining about how Caesar Borgia is the image of the white Jesus, it's not going to do nothing for you. It's not doing nothing. It's like, who cares? Like, okay, that's cool. It's interesting if I go on YouTube and just find something to watch. But it's like to hear something like that and to be so radical against not just white people but black people that don't agree with you. That's crazy. And then not all, but some Hebrew Israelite groups be going hard out there when they on them streets, you know what I'm saying? Don't matter who out there, white, black, old, really, really young, you know what I'm saying? It's a video of a little young girl out there, and this Hebrew Israelite there. These hoes out here, these bitches, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you don't see this little girl, like, Yahweh Shah don't tell he down with that? That don't make sense. So bottom line, the other thing about it, one of the guys, forgot his name, he's a Hebrew Israelite, one of the guys that kicked it off, he the one that started the Commandment Keepers, I think it was called. If I'm not mistaken, I heard from watching a YouTube channel called Sonetta TV and Black News 102 that a couple of Hebrew Israelites that's prominent now was part of the Commandment Keepers. So it's like, but that guy that was like the main guy that created it, it's funny because they hate Africans, but I think this dude was from Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken, or I might be mistaken. He probably wasn't from Ethiopia, but he's not even from America. That's one thing. But you know, I know they got something about the 12 chart and these people, those people, and shit like that. So. But that's not true. One, long story short, so we can finish the Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites, it's not black people. You know what I'm saying? That's not how they make it seem. Not the trueness. It's not none of this. You know what I'm saying? For real, I don't know too much on if it was a group actually called in ancient times Hebrew and everything they saying was real. I don't know about that. I can accept if it was a group called the Hebrew Israelites, but the story they saying is totally bullshit. I can accept that. But from my knowledge, what I know right now, ain't no Hebrew Israelites around. Ain't no none of that stuff. Ain't no Moses and the God cursing. Ain't none of that stuff happening. I don't know about none of that stuff. Unfortunately, these are just forms of black people that have been indoctrinated so bad, and they can't get away from the brainwashing and the indoctrination that they try to find some way to make this hot seat comfortable so they can keep going. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you found out, you know, you hear all this stuff about white people, and you find out the Bible came from this person, but then when you just make Jesus black, it's kind of like all that stuff goes away now. So it's like you feel more comfortable in that seat because Jesus is black. Despite all the stuff that's happened with this religion and this picture of Jesus and slavery, just because he's black, all that stuff is diminished now. It's like you keep making the hot seat comfortable. Can't keep doing that. So just because now the whole thing is black and now you able to decode stuff and inside the Bible, not any other book. You can't use no other book to validate the Bible. You just use the Bible to validate the stuff. You use the Bible to validate itself, which that is so backwards. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. You know, that's like me telling you, I made this phone, and you say validate that you made this phone. See, I made the phone. It's like that's not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's there, Yeah, you have it. Yeah, I never seen a phone like that before, but I never seen you create a phone before. Like, I don't understand. I don't see how you did that. You can't show me how you did it. You just gonna tell me it's right here and that's just it. Like, I just gotta believe that. So done with the Black Hebrews effect. Let me move forward. Kind of hungry. Next thing is Muslim. Black people call themselves Muslims. Uh, Muslims are no different than I'm gonna say some of them different. You got the same thing with you got African Hebrews and you got the Hebrew Israelites. You got some people that's Muslim, but you gotta understand we talking about the Africanized way. I mean not the African. I'm tripping. The Americanized version of Muslim, not the Muslims that we see in other countries. Muslim, the bow tie Muslim. You know what I'm saying? The Malcolm X Muslim, that type of the Louis Farrakhan Muslim, that one. So as far as them, one that's similar to the first identity is that the Muslims keep you in this confined box of slavery, racism, discrimination, all these things that deal with you always got to be in conflict with the white man basically for the rest of your life. There's really no real liberation, no real I'm finished, I'm done doing this. It's like it's almost like the same thing as it's bedded in God that this is a test or some type of curse or something that got to happen to these people. Crazy. And once you put that in your psyche, you start to play that out. You start to be a part of the role that make these outcomes happen so you can be like, see, it's true. And you never find the liberation to be free from that and stop, wanting these things. You know how they say if you want positive stuff to happen, you got to speak positivity. Just because somebody did something bad to somebody way back in the past doesn't give you the right to treat this person, his great grandson or greater grandson, or even if they even connected, wrong just because something that somebody else did a long time ago and really got nothing to do with you. And most likely you don't even know your ancestry because most black people just go by what they hear on TV. Like nobody's really doing DNA tests, and then you got people that don't believe in DNA tests. So how do you even know for a fact where you even coming from? Like what if what if you wasn't even one that was brought over here in slavery? What if you came later? Or what if you were just somebody that just you don't know? It's like to the point when you don't know and you going so hard for it, it's just feel like if it's all wrong, you really gonna get fucked up. If it's wrong and you die and whatever happened like that, you really gonna get fucked up because you went so hard for it. You didn't try to find a different way out. But as far as Nation Islam, they are one, just like Hebrews got the Christian Bible, and it's from white people, and they try to make it black. The same thing with the Arabs. A lot of black people, not all, but a lot of black people don't know too much about the slavery that happened before the slavery. What's the slavery that happened before the slavery that happened in America with the white people? Black people was enslaved by the Arabs. The Arabs, the ones that when we see a Muslim with the long beard, we think Osama bin Laden, those people, or Arabs, as far as the ones like when you go to Egypt now, you see a lot of Arab looking, those people, like Arabs basically, Arabs is the ones, and Arab had their religion called Islam. And when they conquered and did what they did, they spread Islam. And you got some black people that was raised and knew Islam in Africa, and then it brought over here. So now that you know that it was black people in history that was in Africa that was Muslim, doesn't mean that was the thing, that was their culture. It was brought on them by slavery, by being enslaved and captured, and things happen, blah, blah, blah. But they was able to do great things despite. The religion don't make you great. Calling yourself a Muslim don't make you great. You could call yourself whatever. It all depends on your discipline, your confidence in yourself to make something happen, the spirit to do it. The name don't mean nothing. So despite him being a Muslim, he was just an awesome, great person, whatever. I don't know too much about Africans being Muslim, but I know there was. I don't know, but I'm just assuming like I think people was ruling over there and they was Muslim, but the point is like they was able to get to that point despite being Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Muslim was just, that's my badge, but I could do this because I'm capable of doing dope shit, and that's just what it was. No different than Harriet Tubman doing what she doing. She had a Bible beside her. It wasn't a Bible that got her back and forth from the north and the south. It was her capability to go out there and risk her life. Like she just, you know what I'm saying? That was in her to do that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the Islam, you know, they I got it right here. I'm talking about the nation, the Nation of Islam. So just want to keep that in mind. So I don't know how you say his name. Let's say Wallace. Then let's say you say his name. I guess he's the one that started the Nation of Islam, the founder, whatever. And basically they teach black power almost, like black. What's the joint? Pro-blackness, meaning that everything is black. Black is better than everybody. You know what I'm saying? If the white man was once said he was better than us or whatever, the best thing to defeat that is not say that we're better than him, and call the white man the devil. So their ideology is based on the white man being the devil and the black man being God. And the white man came from the black. No, matter of fact, I think he did say that. One of them said the white people came from us or something like that, and then it was like they created by this dude named Yaqub, and I already heard a story about that. You know, it gets weird. It just keeps you in the hate. You know what I'm saying? Because one, you don't want to love the devil, so you want to hate the devil. And the white man's the devil. That's you hating white people. You know, and then it's just like it's going to be a never-ending cycle because people that's looked upon as being that. Not to get all nerdy and shit, but it's an anime, and it kind of plays just that, with a group of people was being called the devils, and people looked at them the devil, and these are not bad people. Like whatever their ancestor did, which in the anime is one person, but whatever their ancestor did ain't got nothing to do with them. So you calling them the devil, and they not the devil. And when you think somebody's the devil and you're around them, you're not gonna treat them right. You're not gonna want to do, you know, how can I sit here and eat alongside the devil? So in that anime, the girl was, you know, willing to kill people that was letting her in their house and on their table. So it was like, say Israelites from the Bible. Yeah, Israelites from the Bible, Hebrews and Jews. Yeah. So basically, the Muslims consider the white man the devil. That's all. That type of talk and narrative is not going to make us liberated and get us from this cycle of what we in. You know, we consider shit being fucked up or us being in our fallen state. None of that stuff is good for us. So, black people are not Muslims. We are. That wasn't our original thing. We wasn't all that stuff. All that jive turkey they be talking about is not true. You know what I'm saying? It's cool and all for people to join something and better their life, because there's a lot of people that was doing bad and became Muslim doing good. Perfect. If you could do that, then if their life is really doing good, then yeah, you know what I'm saying. But as far as leaving that cycle, like Pac said, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be at a BET Hip Hop Awards singing "We Should Overcome." It's like and that already passed. So if he was alive, he would be upset that we still doing this. You know what I'm saying? And okay, so done with the Muslims. But remember, you know what I'm saying, to get deep into it, the Muslims and Christians and Hebrews, anything that the Quran and the Holy Bible are one and the same. And I'm gonna get deep. But matter of fact, I think that's the last religion we'll be talking about, religious thing. So now that we're talking about Islam and Hebrew Israelites, or this religion itself, remember this: every culture, you can find a lot of spiritual systems, or a lot of people like to call it mythology, or their religion, whatever, their cults, whatever they call it. Around the world, you can find so many connections. I mean, if you study and read, you could, and if you could see, you blatantly could find a bunch of connections from all cultures around the world. Everybody got the same story. You know how many flood stories is around the world? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even gonna get deep into that right there, because then you're gonna be like, well, if it's not a flood stories, that's say the Bible is true. The flood did happen, no, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. But so yeah, so them all connecting. The thing about is that even though Africa is where life started, just because Africa is where life started. How about to say it? Just because life in Africa. Okay, yeah. Okay. Just because life started in Africa and supposedly black people just populated the whole world or something like that, I guess, whatever. But what's really going on is that every culture reflect their God or their deity or their spiritual leader as themselves. That's just common knowledge, you know what I'm saying? That's just common knowledge. If you start to learn about the Egyptians and what I might call it the Kemetic people, and then study the Nubians, study from Nubia all the way up, what they would say all the way down, but all the way up to Kemet, which is Egypt, and go your way to where there be Canaan, you know what I'm saying? You know how they talk about Canaanites and Canaan in the Bible. That area, if you just study that area, then basically just study religions and mythology and stuff like that, you see how they had this one deity that was just basically everybody was worshiping the same thing. It might look a little different in their area, but it was the same thing. You can see how the names is changing, but it's all the same thing. When you research it, it probably said this is a Semitic god or something like that. When they say it's a Semitic god, I mean the Semitics, which is in that area, you know, worship that god, but they had different names for them, different ways they do it, but it's the same thing. And it's not saying that one same thing is everywhere, but it's just a point that how it just came from one area and moved on and went to this way. It's so many gods that you can see. Like I think his name was El. They might call him Baal and spell it different, and you know they might say, well, that's Osiris in Egypt because the head thing he got on. So it's, you know, I'm getting to and some other shit. But back to black identification. Long story short, we're not Muslims or Hebrews either. That's not our identity. The white man ain't the devil. Leave that bullshit alone. You know what I'm saying? Don't be thinking about nobody the devil. Just think, if anything, just think you the God. That if anything. Okay, so now the next thing is African Americans. We call ourselves African Americans. This is gonna be short. I ain't even gonna have to deal with this right now. Okay, so first, I'm doing my research. I bumped into something that the guy that I thought originated the term African American, it didn't start from him, but they didn't really give me I couldn't find nothing that points me to a person, but they said that something that I think it was a note or something that they saw the term African American before this guy said it. I thought he was the dude, but unfortunately he popularized it. So what I'm talking about, the term African American was popularized by Jesse Jackson in the late 1980s. And I said the term typically refers to descendants. Listen to this. The term typically refers to descendants of enslaved black people who are from the United States. So enslaved, you know what I'm saying? There go that slavery thing again. I don't want to be connected with slavery or slave. Like, I understand what happened in time, but I'm not a slave. I don't want to be considered as that. You shouldn't want to be considered as that. You know what I'm saying? You should be looking at yourself as free. And if you want to be free, say you free. It's like you want positive energy, you speak positive energy. You speak freeness, you know you free. You're not there, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? If something's happening and make you feel like you're not free, change it. That's it. That's the answer. Complaining, bringing up racism and discrimination and, you know, all this craziness, no. Just do something about it. Let me do this shit right here. Alright, so what are we talking about? Okay, so, and Jesse Jackson, you know what I'm saying? He's one of those coons that's out there manipulating the black people, just like Al Sharpton. Yeah, Al Sharpton. I think that's his name. That is probably his name. I'm sure. But because I don't be paying to these motherfuckers. Like these niggas, these are the people that are false leaders. If anything, how the Bible say that you will have false prophets, these are false prophets. And why? Because these people are actually moving people. You know what I'm saying? When some things happening as far as democratic and politics and just a wave of where they're trying to where the people that's in control want to steer black people. These are the people that tells black people do this or follow this or do this. And like they only about that money. You know what I'm saying? And they keep you in the loop. They not give you no liberation mindset to get free from this racism constantly being a threat or always being on our back all the time, even if it's there or we keep constantly thinking about it. But so to my understanding, one, African. Let's deal with that part. One, we're not African. African would be like, because you can't, like, people like to say, well, where you from in Africa? You gotta say the place. You can't be from the whole Africa, you know, and shit. But this is like when I go back to saying DNA test. If you do a DNA test and you can figure out which part that you subscribe to more, then you could figure out. Research say most black people from West Africa have been taken. So most likely, maybe a lot of y'all might be from West Africa. I don't know. But I don't see a big threat with saying African, but I feel like Africa in this greatness, we black people in this core don't give a shit about. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we dealing with so much here that we don't give a fuck about no Africa. In the right way, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like we want Africa to jump on the bandwagon of being, you know, the Americanized version of black people. You know, we want Africa to be Africa. You know what I'm saying? Enhance Africa. We got to enhance this over here. Then we could connect. You know what I'm saying? The same way, that's why Marcus Garvey said, can't bring all black people back to Africa. They're going to bring that bullshit they doing over there, over here. If you ain't willing to work and do what you got to do, then you ain't working. But, yeah, so I feel like, me, I'm not African. I understand where my ancestors come from. I understand that the history. But as far as like, let's not use Africa. Let's say my ancestors, if I do my DNA test, it goes back to let's just say Ethiopia. Let's just say some random Ethiopia. It's like so what am I gonna call myself? Ethiopian American or Ethiopian now, or what I'm gonna call myself now? But long story short, I'm not from Ethiopia. The people that's my ancestors that's from Ethiopia should call themselves Ethiopian because they're from Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? And I should call myself American because I'm born and raised just like how they're born and raised. Just think about it years and just think if we was the ancestors, what would people say? You know what I'm saying? Like now, if they not from America and it's a totally different place they're in, what they gonna just be adding the word? So now they're gonna just be African in America, be African American or whatever they is now. It's gonna be all of that. It's just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever you from, that's who you are. If you could hold dear your heritage and understand, you know, whatever you got going on, or if you got practices or a religion type thing that you do to keep remembrance and things or whatever, like do all these things. You know what I'm saying? You could do all these things. While having like to feel like you gotta always, you know, make it seem like you're trying to make a second Africa here. You know what I'm saying? Which we should be trying to make something totally out of this world par to Africa instead of trying to copy Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not duplicate Wakanda. Let's make our own Wakanda here. And then that's not even considered it's a Wakanda. It's something else. Like, I don't know. Like, that's the greatest about it because we don't know what it is. We're gonna just make it happen. So I don't call myself African. understand history. I understand that if I go do an application, it's gonna say Black/African-American. So check. Sometimes I put other. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I put mixed race because most likely I got a lot of shit in me. For real. Most likely black though. But so the American part I agree with because we are born in America. That's just how it is. I'm from America. You know what I'm saying? And then from my research, it's African people that migrate here that don't want to connect with. I don't want to say not gonna say that. It's black people that move. It's African people that move here that don't want to subscribe to the idea of being called African American. They don't want that. That's why we just call them African or wherever they originate from. You know what I'm saying? They'd rather be called it. They, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say they be like mad and like this I want to do, but from understanding they don't want that on them. You know what I'm saying? I can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, my black people, but I can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? Not all black people are called people like to consider themselves African Americans doing bad or producing bad or influence bad or blah blah blah. But you know what I'm saying? The scale that it's at and what the media portrays is like it ain't something that somebody want to go in and just be a part of like that. You know, especially if you come from a whole different way of life, coming here. The reason why you probably coming over is to escape a way of life. So, you know, yeah. So, you got the African American. So, you're not African American. I'm just American. You know what I'm saying? My ancestors come from Africa, though. They African. I'm American. That's it. Okay, so what was the next one? The last four is easy. So I didn't really have to write too much. I can go off the brain with this. So the next one is Native American, Indigenous, and Aboriginal and Black. So we're gonna deal with Native American. Black people like to call themselves Native American. So there's a lot of black people say, yeah, I got nice hair because I'm Native American. Like black, like you can't find people that's black with nice hair or something like that. Just wait till we get to the Aboriginal because the Aboriginal people have very nice hair and they are black. They have hair that you would consider Native American or whatever. But so one, black people are not the Native Americans. Which Native Americans not even called Native Americans. They have different names, but what we all know by is Native Americans. So, but what have happened why black people consider themselves Native American, you might get some people, like I know a person that's grandmother is Native American. You know what I'm saying? The way she look, you might not think she black, or you might think she light-skinned black, you know, you got light-skinned black. Black, you're dark and you're light-skinned at the same time. But everybody else look like regular black people. So, not saying you can have blood or ancestry that's Native American, just like you, most likely you probably got some ancestry that's European in you. You know what I'm saying? You're not connected to your European side, are you? No. But in the process of slavery and stuff like that, and colonizations and the 13 colonies and blah blah blah, and the interactions with the native people of America, okay, Native Americans will be considered what would be the next thing, I'm going to hurry up and just say that, will be considered indigenous to that land. Just like African people on the African continent are indigenous to Africa. Like that's their place, they've been there all their life, they originated there, that's their thing, you know what I'm saying? So, but as far as Native Americans, a couple of Native Americans took black people in during the slave times, and they lived with them. They got married. They lived normal. They lived better lives than being in slavery or whatever. So like they was, they connected and stuff. And it's a lot of black people that still do the Native American I guess I'm gonna say rituals or religion or whatever spiritual practice, or they still do these things and hold it dear. And then I heard like they have a card or something or paperwork that showed that, you know, what's part of their family was this or that, and basically to tell you that they have Native American heritage or family or blood or whatever like that. But that doesn't mean that one, Native Americans are black people and black people are Native Americans, in the form that you're saying that when Christopher Columbus got here, he saw Native American people that's blatantly look like some African people, but Native American. No. Yes, as far as if we talk about melanin and the scale of melanin, then yeah, their skin was a darker tone than, I guess, if you seen a Native American white as snow, then that's wrong. I don't think Native Americans white as snow. But Native Americans wasn't just a darker color, what the people call them red skin or whatever, or a darker melanin. Their melanin was, let's say they had a higher frequency of melanin, you know, than other Native Americans. But I don't believe Native Americans was white. Let's just say, like you have black people, you got the light skin black, or not necessarily light skin, but you got the brown skin, caramelish, then you got the black, we consider black. But as far as Native Americans, I just feel like the African that we look at, that's not them. It's a whole different thing. Like they knew who they were and who they are. It ain't like you would get a bunch of Native Americans at one place and get an African from there and you get confused of which one is the African. Like, it's not like that. You can figure it out. You know, I doubt it. Okay, so black people are not Native Americans. Stop that bullshit. Native Americans are Native Americans and black people are black people. Okay? So, yes, we left master, stayed with them, and became, you know, married in and mixed and blah blah blah. And then, but this other thing, I think it was 5 groups of Native Americans, and some of these names are some of the ones that black people consider themselves a part of, that I hear from them, is that these 5 groups, if I'm not mistaken, I think they made an agreement with the Europeans. So in this agreement, a lot of them basically civilized themselves. They wasn't living like Native Americans was living, most of them. So a lot of them had slaves as well that lived under them, and they took on a little bit the same role as the white man took on. That's what I heard. That's what I read. That's what I know. So, but I believe it probably was more so the other side than that. You know, I believe that happened, but not so much black people just happen to move in with Native American because they had a similar culture and they understand each other, and you know, but we talking about indentured servants, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people might not consider that a form of slavery, but Native Americans had that too. Just throw that out there. But like, long story short, black people are not Native Americans. Stop that. You know, and that whole idea, we was here first. Black people was in America first, and we was the Native Americans. Wrong. Black people that we think of was not here first. Little brief history. Okay, I don't know the names and the terms at the moment, but for if you could visualize, if you know the movie Ice Age, the first one, and a little baby, a little boy is running around, picture them. You know, they like flat face, almost looking Chinese looking, going across the ice. You know what I'm saying? And they eventually get here. You know what I'm saying? Them. Not all of them came, because how migration happens. You know, some people stay in certain areas, some people keep moving, some people stay, and some people keep moving. They move. But in the bottom, to my understanding, with South America, is that from the bottom going all the way up is a group of people that look like, I'm gonna say look like, No matter if I'm gonna go out there and say those people. But what's on the next list is the Aboriginal and Aboriginal people, which black people consider themselves Aboriginal. But if you search up Aboriginal people, you go to the Australian Aborigine. If you look at them, they look so beautiful looking. Like just their man, this shit crazy. You just gotta go search it up. But when you think about it, you don't see people that look like Australian Aboriginal people in America, like just being, next to something. You're like, oh, look at that person. Her features just look so different. You know what I'm saying? It's not your typical, like you're from another, that person from another country or something. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about Australian people, if you don't know about Aboriginal black people, and then they're talking about Australian people, I always think about people like Iggy Azalea or some shit. Like you think about those people that's be hopping around with the kangaroos. You don't think about people that's been there first. Doesn't matter if they was there first, but the point about it is like these people are important people to that land as well. And their cultures and stuff, you can see the similarities to Africa, the similarities to Native Americans. Long story short, just by looking at them, you can see Native American features. So basically, these people, and you can see some of them with a, I'm gonna say, how to say it? I'm gonna say, I ain't even gonna go that far with it. Okay, so these people go to South America. So South America going up, and these people coming down, they mix, creating new people. So basically, just my understanding is that right there, and then people mixing and mingling and doing that, and then people started civilizations and blah blah blah. So, but then we got groups of African people that sailed to the Americas, up north and south, before Christopher Columbus. So this is the true fact right here, how black people was in America first. They wasn't in there like they was the Native Americans. They visited it first. Basically, just how Christopher Columbus came over here and he said discovered, we sailed over here, contacted other people, helped and did things, and you could see the presence of black people by a lot of cultures in the Americas, especially South America, worship black gods, worship a lot of statues and figures resemble features of black people, negroid people with big lips and the hair and stuff like that. And like I said, with the pyramids and stuff, the first pyramids in this whole world, it was in Africa. All the different designs of pyramids in their beginning state, you know what I'm saying, are there. You can find a step pyramid that you see in South America, in Africa. And it's not at its finished state, but you see the beginning state. So you can imagine what they traded, what they told them about, what they taught them, and blah, 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 being over there. Let me go to the next joint. So
we live in a small town.
Black people was over there. You know what I'm saying? Then if they came over here to help and left, you can imagine they probably mingle with people too. So that's a little bit more mingling. So you see what you get. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just went to the Aboriginal thing. So because basically Aboriginal, Indigenous, and Native American and Native is kind of all this in line with the same thing. So the last and final thing is black. We call ourselves black. You know what I'm saying? And this was something that at first I agreed with. Like I came to the term like it's something that we could all just fall under the umbrellas. Like it's like a umbrella that's black, and as it goes down to get more to a lighter brownish, and like to the point where we, where you no longer consider black no more. But so excuse me. So black. What's wrong with this one? Black is a color. One. And yes, white people call themselves white people, and we call white people white people. You know what I'm saying? To my understanding, if you see an albino, for real, an albino is white. We say they black, but we obviously going off skin color. So their skin color shows that they're white. You know what I'm saying? So they're white. You know what I'm saying? White people, not really so white. Some of them can be looking really white. But for real, for the most part, like, they ain't so white to me. Like, an albino is white. You know what I'm saying? We should have a name for them. It's like how you got black people, and even though you got one that's really light, you say he's still black, but you might call him light skinned, but he's still black. They should have that with white people. Like, albino is white. And as you get to a more darkerish, we should call it something else. Like, you know how we got light skin, maybe they could call it dark skin. I don't know. But it just unless we, which I'd rather not, but we not. It ain't black. Is not a nation. It's not. It's just a skin color. And with that whole black thing, if black is white, white is black. Like blue is red, red is blue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we could say that me saying I'm black and making black this and black that shouldn't be a problem to nobody. But how you think another person supposed to feel? You know what I'm saying? You don't think they would feel the same reason about how we feel? Would give us the same reason to want to do this? You know what I'm saying? Everything is white. I learned that in school. Everything is white. This is white. White. That's why I want to make everything black now. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is something white, I don't want to consider it. I just want it to be black. You know what I'm saying? Unless the white person or white part of it is promoting blackness. That's to me a form of black supremacy trying to go against white supremacy, which every white person is not doing this, and every black person is not doing black supremacy. But we make the notion, because we never generalize this certain group of people, we almost make the notion that a whole bunch of white people are doing it. If all white people not doing it, and everybody's kind of in it, they like benefiting from it, like everybody winning from it, and they're not doing nothing. So it gets you in the state of everybody is against you, or everything is against you. Because then when it's a black person that's speaking something good, and it's not what you want or want to hear, that's blackness, then you equate him with white people, like, well, he's a coon, he's a sellout. So now you got so many people against you, and then depending on how you going with this, if it's a religious thing, then if God said it's a curse, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, then it's like God against you, because why you want to be in that type of state? That's like it's no hope. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. It just don't make sense. I wouldn't want to be born and find that I'm cursed because something that somebody else wanted to do way in the past. And the only way to liberate this, or the way I should live my life, is considering somebody else the devil or hating them. It's like if you think you made peace, but you still got hate or anger or holding a grudge, you didn't have peace. That's not saying I achieved it, that's just a fact. So, with that, I feel like we're not black, we're not niggas, we are American. And that's just it. If you want to talk about black, we're talking about colors. You know what I'm saying? Yes, black is a color, blue is a color. Red, yellow. We naming colors now? What's up? Or it's just that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? So, and it is great. Just when you think about black and think about being proud to be black, which nothing should be. Not saying it should be stopping something being proud to be black, but you shouldn't feel like you should be proud based off somebody just because somebody had to hate you. You should be proud anyway. Nobody shouldn't have. You shouldn't encounter negativity to want to be positive. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't feel like I got to be negative to produce positive. you should be producing positive to produce positive. You know what I'm saying? So that should be the whole goal. Think positive, do positive, get positive. You know what I'm saying? Don't think negative, because you can't fight fire with fire. It's gonna make more fire. You can't pick up water. You can't get up a wet spill by making another wet spill. Just think about that idea. Like, I gotta remember that. You can't pick up a wet spill by making another wet spill. So you can't clean up. You can't take out fire with fire. It's just gonna make it worse. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to go, you feel like you want to heat shit up, you can't. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know it's a real liberation, because you gotta challenge yourself. You gotta really challenge yourself. You gotta bite that bullet and be like, I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm not gonna do it. Just keep going. You know what I'm saying? So we're not black. So what are we? Yeah, I already said it. We just American. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We're just American. Simple as that. Now that you got that all done with, we could start with the identity crisis. Start with the who, what, this and that. People beefing, people having debates and discussion, people killing each other because this person this and that. Stupid. Okay, so we're just Americans living. We're just people with dark skin living in America. If anything, that's it. Dark skin. That's it. Dark skinned people live in America. Just like it's dark skinned people live in other places. That's just what it is. Okay? So that's the end of this video. And if you got any questions, you don't agree, you think I missed something, comment on the video, let me know, hit me up, whatever. I'm about to chill, play some games, and do my thing.